What's good, folks? It's your brother Mad Black, the brother who told you not to take your ass down there to the nation's capital and hang out with those white boys, but you did it anyway, and now your ass is sentenced to 5 years. And I'm black up in your face again with some pro black commentary. So everyone's talking about it, and I'm petty enough to jump in on this one as well. And that is the black Trump supporter, Mr. Mike Ponder, and how his dumbass went down to the Capitol on January 6th around all those white folks, and he allowed himself to be a black crash test dummy, and he used a stick or a flagpole or something like that to hit one of these riot cops on their shield. And now this dumb black buffoon is getting 5 years for that. Okay? And I would like to say that I feel bad for him, but I don't, because once again, you got one of these conservative crash test dummies being used by the white people around him. He was dumb enough to take his ass down there and be involved with this nonsense. So he's getting the end result of his ignorance. Okay? And like I said, it's petty, and like I said, I've seen a lot of other black people making fun of this fool, and I'm not above the pettiness enough to not jump in on this one. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to point it out because it goes along with my narrative of how you shouldn't trust either political party. So for those who are liberal, don't get excited by this video. Think just because I'm coming down on a black conservative. You Negroes are just as dumb and misled as they are as well. Okay? That's how you get caught out there because you actually believe or have some sort of faith in the Democratic Party. I don't have faith in either. And I don't advocate for either side either. Right? I think black people are foolish and you come off as buffoons when you get so hyped up and so into wanting to be part of these parties that you allow yourselves to be sucked into these situations where it gets your dumbasses in trouble. And of course, being the only black person out there, of course, the cameras and the police and any type of prosecutor is always going to focus on you. Also, your good old white buddies that hyped you up and put the battery in your back to be out there acting a damn fool, they're not going to help you in this regard. In fact, some of them might have even snitched on you. For someone might have not known what your name was or where you came from, but your good white conservative buddies, to keep themselves out of trouble, they're always going to point to you to make sure that they don't get in trouble, and just put you out there to take all the hits and take all the charges. And like I said, your dumbass deserves it because you went out there in the first place. Okay? So it's been said that this fool is going to get 5 years, and what some hypothesize is this is the longest sentence for any Capitol rioter. I'm not 100% sure if that's true because I've been trying to find out if if there's anyone else who's gotten a longer sentence. I haven't seen any, but I see conflicting reports as far as the different sentencings out there. Okay, truth be told, everyone who is out there should be locked up right now and locked up for treason and sedition, according to what the United States preaches about protecting his nation's capital. If some people make an uprising that is against the actual country, then that should be the highest charges. I thought anyway. But, the majority of the people out there were white, and the majority of the people out there were quote unquote pretending that they were fighting for their freedom. Really, they weren't. It was that, to me, the whole Capitol riot thing, I don't get excited about it one way or the other. The only thing I call it out for is the overt hypocrisy by white people. That's all it shows to me. For one thing, you got a bunch of white people out there basically having a big temper tantrum because their political party and their political idol, the guy that they worship, did not win the election. And like I said, that's just all just them having their own little temper tantrum. okay, acting like complete children. And what was funny about it to me was they all went out there and acted a damn fool, acted like a bunch of monkeys and apes. And then when the shit hit the fan and stuff started getting real and some charges started coming down and the blame started being put on them, the spotlight got put on them, then they wanted to act like nothing bad happened at all. See, that's the thing, and why I don't take a lot of conservatives seriously either, because you talk all types of bullshit about when black people have riots or protests or whatever after a black person is murdered. Now, say whatever you want about some of those riots, but at least they're protesting something that makes sense. I can understand black people being frustrated when a black person is murdered on camera and nothing is done about it. But for you guys to just be getting upset over your political idol not winning, that's ridiculous. But you got upset about that, and you talk so much trash about black people and their riots, and then you get all upset over when you have a riot. You claim that it's not a riot. I've even seen these conservatives out here lying, making it seem like it was liberals or some other political group out there rioting. You can't even take responsibility for the shit that you did. You had your ass out there with all your flags and your MAGA caps and everything else and talking about how much you love Trump and you wanted to take your country back. But then when the shit hits the fan, you all back up and deny that you were out there doing something wrong. And then try to pass the buck and blame other people and everything else. Taking no personal responsibility whatsoever. Acting like a bunch of goddamn cowards. That's why I have no respect for any of you. And you Negroes that took yourselves out there, y'all got to be some of the dumbest Negroes in human history. Okay? Because really, let's say all this is true. Let's say Trump lost the election or the election was stolen from him or whatever. You didn't even accomplish your goal. The people you went out there they put the battery in your back and they hyped you up to do this riot, but then they didn't even follow through with the shit. So you just stuck out there, and now you're being charged, losing time with your own life and your own family. This dude is already in his 50s, if I'm not mistaken. What's his name? Mark Ponder. Let me see how. Yeah, he's 56 years old. And he's gonna be locked up for 5 years over some nonsense. Now, how dumb do you feel, Negro, when you're sitting in that cell, counting the bars and looking at the ceiling and whatnot? Just think about how dumb you are for doing what you did. Think about how stupid you are, and think about all your good white buddies who were there with you who got no charges whatsoever. But they hyped you up to be the class clown and be the buffoon and the crash test dummy for them. You dumb Negro. You dumb black buffoon, you doing that shit. I can't stand. I have the least amount of respect for black people like you. Okay, and I don't care whether you be conservative, liberal, whatever. You dumb Negroes that let these white folks gas you up to do nonsense. You got to be some of the dumbest people on earth. And whatever happens to you, you deserve it. Okay, no black person is going to come to your rescue. And no one should even try to help with your legal fees or nothing. Go to jail, okay? This is the one time I support a black man going to prison. Go your ass to prison and sit in there and contemplate the stupid moves you've made in your life. All the times you've been buck dancing for Donald Trump and tap dancing for all these white people and trying to make it seem like you're the uber Negro conservative. Now your ass is stuck in prison for that, okay? And I don't see any of these other black conservatives who do these online videos like Brandon Tatum or Brandon Scrotum, as I call him, or any of these other black buffoons coming out to his defense. None of them are coming to help Mark Ponder. None of them are on their webpage trying to raise money for his legal defense. None of them are speaking out and trying to get this black man some help. But they all profess the same nonsense. You would think they'd be the first people to come out there and want to help this man. But nope, they're continuing with their BS, continuing to put out this message until the day where they get caught up in something and their ass goes to get locked up. I wonder what they're going to do then. See, a lot of these black conservatives, they can't say anything about this, that this black man is getting the longest sentence, because then that gives credence to what pro-blacks like myself say about racism and white supremacy in this country. So they can't do that. They can't give credence to what I say. They got to keep going on with the narrative that America is fair and everything's all good, and black people got it exactly the same as white folks. So they won't give any credence to what's going on with Mark Ponder. They'll just forget about him, just like they do every other black conservative who bites the dust at the hands of white supremacy. But you folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. I very much like to hear your response and your opinions on Mark Ponder. I know how most of my audience is going to feel about this buffoon. I'm going to do a cartoon about him, by the way. I'm going to work on it today, and hopefully by maybe next week the cartoon will be up on my Patreon first, and then I'll release it publicly later. But you folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. If you want to follow me on Patreon, it's $5 a month, and I'll post a link in the description box as well as the comments section. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on these devils' back.